answers between all of us. We should be able to kind of come to some sort of like deeper understanding with this. And our goal is to like walk out as like a team feeling like we've arrived at a place where we kind of better understand it. Maybe we don't have a solution, which is not our job, but we're kind of engaging in this like search for understanding. So this is the last slide and then I'll stop talking. I want you to listen in order to understand people, make meaning out of what they're saying, finding some sort of common ground, not so that you can just politely wait your turn to talk, okay? Just because you talk a lot doesn't mean that you get a good grade. That's not what I'm going for. So someone who's like listening deeply to other people and building on their ideas is like doing what we want to do. So it is okay to have some awkward silence. There's people like us who need a second, or like people like me who need a second to kind of process things before I build on other people's ideas. So it's not a race. We don't have to cover 1,000 topics. Kind of like leave like that time and space for people to think. And then just last thought would be inviting others into the conversation shows some maturity. So that might not mean, Leslie, what do you have to say about this? But it could mean like leaving a second for Leslie to like think and like giving her the opportunity to jump in. Okay? All right, so we've all annotated our text. You all have questions that you've set up. I think we would want to start with our main question, which is it worth it? Does it actually raise money for conservation? So just give me a second to get off of airplay here. No need to be nervous. Okay, cool. All right, does anyone want to start with that main question of is it worth it?
No.
To rehunt for conservation? Jenna, tell us about it.
So I don't think that it is worth it just because I know they say like they pay a large fee to hunt the animals, but on paragraph 40 it says that each adult over 18 like local to the conservation facility would issue about $70 per adult, which I think like takes a lot of the percentage away from what they're actually what's going towards the animals. And there's another okay, so there's like there's a quote and it's about the tigers that says like their population has shrunk like 2/3. So I don't think the trophy hunting and like the money they say is going towards preserving those animals is actually like preserving the animals, since the populations are actually decreasing by a lot.
Can you just summarize that one more time?
Okay, so the money that they make from trophy hunting doesn't go to saving the animals.
Now, I kind of want to agree with you because like I understand that like they kind of like say like, oh, we're helping them, we're breeding them, and then we're gonna set them out in the wild, but like they're kept in the facility and they don't really know how to take care of themselves. They're just fed, and when they release them, they're out for trophy hunting. They're just gonna be dead like after. That's all.
Yeah. And like, can they even be considered wildlife if they're not even in the wild? Like, I don't think they're wildlife. If they're,
Yeah, the movie asked that question. Can I just jump in to clarify one thing? So remember canned hunting, where animal is raised and kind of released out into the supposed wild space to be shot, is separate from trophy hunting in general, where we're raising money for conservation. So I know the article and the movie kind of cross over in that way. The movie was more about canned hunting, the article is more kind of suggesting that this trophy hunting is good to raise money for conservation. I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. Okay, sorry. You want to jump in?
I just feel like it depends on too many variables. So like, it would work if the government put the money in the right place and if people were to only hunt the old ones that couldn't reproduce anymore, and if, you know, the villagers were okay with it and all this stuff. Like, you're just depending on too many things to happen when you could just let them exist naturally and not mess
pulling out all the questions, there's so much to talk about here, and I feel the pressure of time, like I said, usually this conversation goes for 3 days, so we're trying to cover a lot. But just take a second, look after the text, is there anything, that you're like, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that? Talk a little bit more loudly so they can hear you.
Okay, you want me to repeat that?
Yeah, you got cut off, so.
Okay, so I was answering his question. I was saying that I don't think it's not morally in order, because otherwise everyone would be fine with it and no one would have a problem with it. So we wouldn't be having like this discussion right now if it was morally right.
So the fact that we're not sure about it suggests that it isn't.
Yeah.
No, I kind of do understand
I
that.
have nothing to say about it as well.
Go ahead, yeah, and then we'll let them.
Okay, sorry, but I was just saying that I think it really depends on the person and their perspective about what they think. I personally don't think it's moral, but the people that are hunting obviously think it's moral if it's making at least some money, so. Even though I don't personally think it is.
Now, I do understand the, like, just this argument of, like, hunting is good, you know, but, like, even with, like, scientists that are telling hunters that's, like, declining the population and everything, like, hunters would still not listen. But, like, what would be, like, a good representation to show them what are the causes of that? But, like, I know it's quite, like, a difficult question to answer because so far they're just denying everything. But if there's like a certain way, I'm not sure.
So are you saying that there needs to be evidence that it's not working?
Like, it's not just like evidence, but they just need to listen. Like, you just gotta give them a slap on.
Yeah, that kind of goes into my question. That is, what information or data would you use to support the claim that trophy hunting saves the animals?
Like, I would say, like, you don't need to like ask that like specifically like to anyone, but you need to go more directly to the hunters because they're the ones that are denying everything, and anyone can just listen to the hunters and saying, oh yeah, I agree with them.
I feel like regardless if somebody ever tells them anything, they just won't listen. Like when we were watching the movie and those people were asking the person, like, what are they called? Like the people that were, you know, like when they were in that animal fair thing.
Oh, the safari.
Yeah.
Convention?
Like they were asking them questions like, oh, like, do you like, I don't know how to explain it, but point is that one of the hunter people coordinators said that the people hunting the animals gives the animal a reason to live. And that's like what was messed up because these animals have a reason and a purpose to live regardless. Not because of the hunters, not because of other people, but because it's a part of nature and they just have the right to live.
Do you guys remember what we call that? Intrinsic value. I love what intrinsic goes in Spanish. Yeah. Intrinsic value. I got goosebumps. Hold on a second, let me process that. So they don't need to exist to be hunted, they can just exist because they're here.
And I feel like, yeah, like regardless if we ever say anything, they just won't listen, you know.
And no amount of evidence is gonna change their mind. Okay.
I like what you're saying, and I would like to add on to that because in paragraph 38 it says if it pays, it stays. And I think I like what you were saying because it says that here it states that money has changed their mindset. So honestly, they would just like they only care about the money instead
Yeah,
of
they just want it
the
because
value
they
that
need
animal
it.
has in the ecosystem.
Yeah, so they're pretty much just using them as props and that's about it. They're not really having them as like good and stuff like that. So.
I feel like money is
such a shallow thing to measure worth by, because money is not gonna exist forever. I don't know how long ago money was invented, but go back however many years ago, like, it just didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? So like, we put all this worth on like this big thing, but you can't, that's such a meaningless way to value like something that's been evolving on Earth for millions of years. Like, you're just wiping that out for something that you made up.
Goosebumps.
I feel like going back to what Leslie said, adding on to that, like in the movie, they had asked them, like, a lot of them, I think it was a woman that they asked, and they were like, and I think she replied, oh, like, I love animals, but like, I hunt to hunt. Like, it's just, and I found it really stupid, because in, paragraph 37, one of the quotes is that it's in our genes. Like, it's not in your genes, it's like you choose to do it, like nobody else tells you to.
She was even trying to like, trying to make it like sound better by saying, oh, I even have like dogs at home and I really love them. Like, that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Just because you have dogs doesn't make you a better person.
Yeah, that same lady, I like wrote it down on my phone when I was watching it. She said, why not kill them if they're bound to die, like, anyway sometime. And then I know in the article they said they killed like a really old elephant just because it was already suffering. But I don't think it's like the hunter's choice to decide whether or not the animal gets to live or not. Like if it was like humans, like how would you feel? Like if someone's old and we're like, oh, we're just gonna kill him because there's so many other humans, like he doesn't have a purpose. Like he might, you know, he might have a purpose.
I don't know.
Like you could like discover something, I don't know, like medicine, you know, like I don't know. I know animals can't like discover medicine obviously, but I just think like, I don't know.
And since we're talking about age groups, like I don't remember what paragraph, but at some point it did mention like how the animals were more wild when the oldest is like gone. And imagine just killing like the oldest, like the father, the children are just gonna be, you know, more wild than they should, and they are most likely just to be dead sooner than ever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're disrupting their family groups.
Yeah.
It's a bad analogy, but a lot of Native American tribes are suffering right now because the pandemic is wiping out a whole generation of people in a culture that really depends on elders. And you can say the same thing for elephants and other animals that live like really tightly in society. It messes up their whole way of behaving.
And since we're kind of talking about like nowadays, I was gonna ask, like, do you believe like since like the virus appeared in 2020, do you believe that maybe the like hunting has decreased slightly over the time, or?
Good person. What do you guys think?
Probably not, because when you're hunting, you're not like in close proximity to anybody. You're just going out to shoot.
Well, what about the people that are like in groups, like in vans and cars and vehicles? Do you believe that?
And like the ones that are traveling
Yeah.
overseas.
All they have to do is wear a mask, literally.
So theoretically, you're saying it shouldn't affect it,
Yeah.
but if there was these literally bans to go to certain countries, I think, and obviously our travel has been down dramatically, it seems unlikely that it hasn't been affected. So I would think it would be interesting. So many experiments have been like naturally made for us during the pandemic, and it would be interesting to find out how it's going to affect those populations. I'm very curious. Yeah.
What do you guys think about killing an animal and then using social media, like posting on social
Oh, that's
media?
disgusting.
Yeah,
that's
that was
disgusting.
this is the quote that when we looked through the article again, I thought was interesting. The one where it brought up like people get
Posting
really
about it?
yes,
Yeah.
people get really mad when you see a post of like Cecil the lion, and this guy is like posing super vulgar with it. People get really worked up and they focus on that mascot, on that one image, but then once something is done to kind of